Donald Trump made news again. Surprise, surprise. This time, he retweeted a video of an individual that screamed white power in Florida. Now, this is not surprising to me. Some people seem shocked, but just look at his history. Nothing Donald Trump does surprises me at all. This video, I want to address some of the talking points I've been seeing from a lot of people on the right, and especially individuals of my color that have been going to bat for Donald Trump. Now, let me just get one thing clear out of the way. If you have a conservative economic view, although I disagree, I don't have a problem with that. Especially if you're a black person too, it doesn't matter. You can be black and have conservative views economically and even socially. That's okay. I don't have a problem with that. What I do have a problem with is black people going out their way to defend racism, whether it's with Joe Biden, whether it's with Donald Trump. And it's really disgusting. So you hear a few different things. You hear, oh, name something racist Donald Trump have said. I could do that all day. And they're just like, well, look at the policies. He had opportunity zones. He gave money to HBCUs. He had the First Step Act. I'm going to address that too. So first, Donald Trump have a 4-decade history of white supremacy. And some people is like, what? No, he doesn't. Yes, he does. I mean, you could take it back to the 70s and early 80s with the housing discrimination with him and his father. You can take it to his casinos where black workers sued for discrimination. You could take it to the Central Park 5 where he took out a full newspaper ad to give these young men the death penalty. And even after it was proven that they were innocent, he still refused to apologize. He still refused to believe that they were innocent. And I mean, if that's not racist, tell me what is. Do you have to have a hood on before some people would say that's racist? I mean, just in 2016, he stated that 80% of white homicides are from black people, which is a blatant lie and false. Well over 80% of white people that are killed by other white people, just like the majority of black people who are killed by other black people. Why? Because we live in a very segregated society and people tend to do crimes next to people they live with that's in their same vicinity. So it makes sense that in the high 80s, white people are killed by white people. And I think it's about 90% of black people are killed by other black people. It makes sense. So what about white on white crime? So how many racist things does he have to do for y'all to believe? Let's not forget that he tried to pretend like he didn't know who David Duke was when he's on video saying David Duke name like a decade before. He tried to act like he didn't know who he was when David Duke supported him. And of course, David Duke, a famous Ku Klux Klan member, wouldn't denounce his support. He did it eventually once the pressure got really, really hot, but he played dumb. He does that a lot. So, I mean, and let's not even forget about the birtherism BS that he did that was purely racist. Once that was proven to be false, once Barack Obama released his birth certificate, he went on to his academic records. I mean, did he ask to see the academic records of George W. Bush or any other president? I mean, I'm not even going to play this game. People that want to pretend like Trump is not racist, I mean, y'all playing dumb. Y'all playing dumb. And some of you probably have some of the same views, and that's why y'all refuse to acknowledge the obvious. So let's take it to policy. So you could say, oh, well, those just comments. What about his actions? What about his actions has he been president? I mean, black unemployment been at the lowest rate in history. And people fail to mention that Trump unemployment rate overall and amongst black people was just a continuation from the Obama era. The trends was going in that direction anyway. Trump literally didn't do too much at all until the tax bill, you know, um, for the economy. So those are just continuous trends. You can look for yourself. Check the numbers out. Look when Barack Obama took office in 2009. He took office during the Great Recession, where um, millions of jobs was already lost before he even took office due to the financial collapse. Um, Barack Obama, and like I got a lot of criticism of Barack Obama too, but he brought us out of the Great Recession, um, and we were steadily regaining jobs, but not at the salaries that we needed to. So I have criticisms of the Democrats and how they did the economic recovery, but facts is facts. Those trends was going in that direction anyway, and that continued onto the Trump administration. I mean, those are just facts. So then they say, all right, what about opportunity zones? And what are opportunity zones? Zones are simply just tax breaks and tax incentives for investors to invest in low income neighborhoods. That's the gist of opportunity zones. So if it's a low income neighborhood that is designated as an opportunity zone, these investors invest in them, they get tax breaks. And so they say, okay, that helps out the black community, it helps with infrastructure, it helps get investment in black neighborhoods. Well, opportunity zones leads to gentrification. Now, don't get me wrong. I do think we need investment in black neighborhoods. We definitely do. We need infrastructure. We need businesses. But if you do it in a way where the population in those neighborhoods can't afford to live there, I mean, you can't say that helping black people if the demographics are going to change. If the racial demographics in that neighborhood is going to change due to gentrification, how exactly is that helping out black people? You know, and there's been plenty of critiques, plenty of articles talking about the justification and opportunity zones, which conservatives conveniently leave out. You know, also the First Step Act, which is I approved of it when it was passed. It's kind of watered down criminal justice reform, but it's better than what we had, so I applaud it. It gives judges more leeway in lessening sentences. Um, it's lower mandatory minimum sentences for low-level drug offenses. So it has some good things in it. So I gave the Trump administration credit for signing it. However, if you follow up on the stories, what a lot of people don't do, the DOJ is not even honoring it. Some of the people that got off due to the First Step Act, the Department of Justice is trying to re-prosecute them for the same exact crime. They not even applying the First Step Act. So it's just a lot of this stuff is just for show. What good is passing a law if you're not going to enforce it? And the DOJ haven't been doing that under Trump. So it's a lot of that with Trump is dressing mirrors. Now, the one thing that he has done that I give him credit for, he has given money to HBCUs, which I'm not going to downplay. Good. But I think some people is confused. The way some people talk about it, they talk about it as if the majority of black people that go to college go to HBCUs, which is only about 10% of black people in college that goes to HBCUs for a variety of reasons. Some of it is where they located. Some of it is the expense because a lot of these HBCUs are very expensive, especially if you're out of state. So I'm not going to downplay it, but some of his education policies is cut into that anyway because in his budget He's been trying to cut education benefits, college education benefits. So a lot of those gains that he gave to HBCUs, he's trying to actively negate that with education cuts. So again, a lot of smoke and mirrors. But I will overall give him credit with the HBCUs, So like let's just stop it, hopefully Trump is out of office in November, and I don't even like Biden. If you watch some of my older videos, I clearly state my feelings on Biden. I think he's a terrible candidate. I think he was wrong on serious issues like the Iraq War, like the '94 crime bill, like tough on drug legislation. He's been wrong a lot. So I'm no fan of Biden, but he's better than Trump. And the reason why I'm going to vote for Biden in November is judges. Trump also been appointing so many right-wing extremists in the two lower federal courts, not to mention the Supreme Court. And if you care about certain legislation, it's going to get dicey with some of these judges. I'm just letting y'all know that now. So um, Trump got to get out of here. And although I don't like Biden, I think he will cause less damage than Trump. I think the response to COVID-19 would have been better under a Biden administration than the Trump administration. Even these protests, I think, would have been handled a little bit better under Biden than Trump. Not saying Biden would have handled it great because I don't have a lot of confidence in him. And we can deal with Biden after we get Trump out of office. Let's get Trump out of office and then we can focus on 2024. Because Biden is going to be a one-term president anyway. I can't imagine him running for re-election at his age. He's already seeing like he's kind of in decline anyway. So get Trump out of here. We can focus on getting rid of Biden in 2024, or he's probably going to get rid of himself, but we can focus on the presidential election in 2024. We can focus on the midterms in 2020, and that's the key, local elections, like voting for the right people for assembly or your state house representatives, your state senate, your local Congress member or U.S. Senate, so midterm elections, mayor's elections, we got to keep focus on that too, along with social activism as well, because these politicians only going to respond to what we make them respond to. A politician is not going to do nothing they don't have to do. Because of the social unrest, you even got the GOP considering a police reform bill, which I've been talking about for a long time. Although their bill is basically BS, it's just mirrors again. No teeth, really no accountability in the GOP version of the bill. The Democrat version of the bill is a little bit better, but it need to be a lot stronger. So again, these politicians is not going to respond to anything they don't have to. Most of them is about their career. That's why we have to pay attention to what's going on. But we also have to keep the activism up. And just one more thing before I get out of here. So those of you on the right that say, okay, how's the GOP racist, blah, 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 blah. The GOP have admitted to the racism. I mean, there's video of Jesse Atwater in the 80s talking about how he wanted to suppress black votes. They apologized. The GOP, the head of the Republican National Committee, apologized for using the Southern strategy in the early 2000s. I mean, this is well known. This is well known that Nixon used the Southern strategy and then GOP used it for decades on end and is basically still using it, basically to kick up racial animosity and use dog whistles. They admitted to it. The GOP admitted to it, but conservatives say, oh, no, they didn't do it. They didn't do it, but yet they admitted to it. That makes no sense. But, people go on believe what they want to believe. Never mind the facts. It is what it is. So I just want to address that real quick. Thanks for tuning in, man. Don't forget to subscribe, share the video. Peace.